We have the wisdom that can disciple a city. We have the grace that humbles states. We are the hands that can heal the country. We are the songs that can lift up the nations. We are the sermons that can strengthen the world. We are a congregation taking ministry beyond the walls. As we concluded the 8:30, we extended an invitation. And if you will allow me, I'd like to extend that same invitation in that same manner. It takes about 3 to 4 minutes to extend the invitation, but it gives you time to really consider. A very wealthy man rested in his home. He had one son. And in his home was a very fine mansion, and all of the hallways were lined with Picassos and Van Goghs. And every Christmas Day, that special day, he and his son would walk up and down all of the hallways just enjoying the Picassos and the Van Goghs. But one day that son was called off into the military, where he had to go and serve his country. And he went and he served his country, and while he was there, his life was taken. The father went in great despair. He cried. He had no joy. He no longer appreciated the Picassos, nor did he appreciate the Van Goghs. As a matter of fact, he sat in his house depressed. About a year later, on that Christmas day, there was a knock on his door. A soldier stood on the other side of that door, and when the depressed man opened the door, the soldier stood and he said, "Sir, I am the soldier. I am the one that your son was trying to rescue when he got killed." The man, with tears in his eyes, looked at the soldier, and the soldier said, "But I brought a gift that I'd like to give to you." And the man escorted him into the home, and he got into the man's house, where he saw the beautiful Van Goghs and the beautiful Picassos all along the wall. He unwrapped the gift that he had in his hands. The young man said, "Oh, by the way, not only am I a soldier, but I'm an artist as well." And he had taken the time to very meticulously and to quite great detail paint a very beautiful picture of that man's son. It captured his very essence, and the man was filled with so much joy that he took that picture and hung it above his fireplace. And he sat there and looked at that picture day after day. The story goes on to say that a few years later that man died. And there were museums from all around the world who were excited and with great anticipation was waiting on his death, because they knew then they could come in and purchase the Van Goghs and the Picassos. They all gathered from around the nation, and they came on that day, on Christmas Day, the day that he and his son would enjoy the beauty of the paintings. They came for the auction. The story goes on to say that the auctioneer stood that day and said, "The first item that we're going to bid is going to be this picture of his son." Someone within the crowd said, we didn't come all this way to buy a picture of somebody that we know nothing of, or something that has no value. But the auctioneer said, "Yes, we will auction this one first." He said, "Can I get anyone to open the bid for $100? Silence came across the room. No one would buy his pictures because they waited in great anticipation for the Picassos and the Van Goghs. So much money in the room, but no one would give $100 for this picture. One of the neighbors who lived next door to the man, he said, I knew that young man. I'll buy the picture. I'll give you $10. The auctioneer said, sold for $10. Then he rapped his gavel again and he said, the auction is closed. They looked at him and they said, oh no, how can you do that? We've come too far to purchase these Van Goghs and the Picassos. He said, but in the man's will, he said, whoever gets the Son gets it all. Whoever gets the Son gets it all. I wonder if there's anybody in this house today who say, I want the Son. I want the Son.